Hello everybody, welcome to #Tarot Songs. My name is Danny Guthrie. I'm the owner of Entropy Healing, and this is a channel for learning the tarot through readings, through interviews, through music, and through guided meditations. And today is our last tarot reading for 2025. And we're going to be talking about this Cancer full moon coming up, as well as kind of a reading for just welcoming in this new year. If you'd like more information about this new year, please go to entropyhealing.com, ENTROPY healing.com. I have a newsletter you can subscribe to, and I talk about the energetics every month in a special tarot reading, as well as a healer's corner, resources for our holistic health for our body, mind, and spirit. And today I'm going to be talking about our Cancer full moon, as well as what we're releasing and welcoming in. So let's just get to it. And if you're wondering, normally I have a beautiful backdrop. This is my last reading. Talk about endings, right? Hermit is a year of ending cycles. It is a year of ending patterns and letting go of things, creating space for new directions, new wisdom, new clarity, welcoming in new gifts. So today, and you can see this is my very last day of bittersweet of moving out of my space down here in downtown Paulsbo. And I think it's been a beautiful year. I don't know about you, thinking about what to reflect on, and what things that we are happy to let go of, what we're happy to release, what we're proud of. In this reading, there's a lot to reading into this, that not to dwell on some of the negative things. Our brains sometimes can think about what's wrong or trying to keep us from getting hurt, and so we may focus on the things that we don't want. But I would encourage all of you in this phase with this full moon and welcoming the new year to think about the positive of what has been a positive year, a part of your year, and thinking about what it is that you want to grow from that in the new year, and maybe welcoming in new positive things. There's a theme here with our readings. So here are the questions I asked the cards. I asked, what is our message from this Cancer full moon? And this is the Light Seers Tarot deck from Chris Ann. And today I also have a special new Oracle deck. I want to start sharing Oracle decks that I use as supplements to my readings with you guys, so that if you want to start adding on for your own practice, I find them so helpful, especially the one I'm going to share today. So this is our card for the full moon, Four of Swords. And I'll go through them briefly. If you want to pull your own cards for this, that would be great. You can take notes, and please let me know what cards you pull and how this resonates for you. The more responses I get from you and our interactions, the more in tune I will be with the messages that are specifically for you. So please do reach out. I'd love to hear your input. Our message from 2025 is number 20, which is Judgment. Our message for 2026 is the Ace of Pentacles. Our next steps is the Five of Pentacles. What is beneath us and supporting us? Ten of Cups. And what is our guiding light? Three of Pentacles, but in reverse. So, and like I said, my new Oracle deck. I have been loving, I had this in my store and I've been wanting, I guess you can't read it because it's in the camera, but it's called Exploring the Empath's Oracle by Raven Digitalis, art by Constantine Bax. And it's all about helping those of you who are watching this. You are probably in the same realm as me, where your emotions and your empathic abilities kind of guide you through this life, and it can be very challenging because energy can be contagious. So figuring out when we are taking on other people's energy as our own, when we need to protect ourselves, when we need to transform energy, all of those things. So I just love this deck. It's so beautiful. And our card, anytime I have a Significant Cups card, I will use this deck. So our card that we pulled in to help us along with what's supporting us through all of this, especially with the Ten of Cups, is learning from social conflict. Okay, you can see the two faces here. And the colors are just so gorgeous. I highly recommend this oracle deck. So, first off, we have our Cancer full moon, and the moon is ruled by Cancer. So this is a very powerful energy of the moon, which has to do with finding light in the shadow. Cancer moon can bring up issues around our sacrum, our ability to connect with our mother, to mother ourselves, our roles as mothers, our relationship with mothers. So anything around mother and femininity, and there is, I sometimes think of the tortured artist with Cancer. You know, there's this feeling very deeply in the vulnerable places, and it's represented by the crab, which has that hard shell. So kind of there can be some themes of the places where we maybe put up a hard shell to restrict others from seeing our vulnerability. And I think there is a large part of this reading where we kind of struggle, where these places where we kind of have these shell up to protect ourselves or to keep others out, it's really starting to crack, and we cannot stay in this same shell anymore. So our interactions with other people are going to have to change, and how we allow others to impact how we feel about ourselves. So right off, the thing that kind of came through with all of these is to not take things so personally. And the other message that came through very strong was to be an advocate for yourself. So, you know, and when we are an advocate for ourselves, it does not mean that we are looking for conflict. You know, we are not trying to force conflict. You know, if you're like me, if you relate to this empath card, we almost will avoid it because we can understand how the other side is feeling, where they're coming from. And so it can be easier for us to say, oh, well, I guess my needs don't really matter. I don't want to have the conflict. So that's fine, you know, or really not speaking out about how we really feel. Okay, and it can be exhausting to think about what's appropriate, how did they take that, you know, and so that's kind of an overall theme during this lunation, but also coming into January as we're, you know, melding that hermit into the wheel. And so, yeah, and not taking things so personally, that a lot of times I tell my kids this, people's issues, if they come out at you where it seems like you're being attacked or the rug gets pulled out from under you, or where did that come from, it really has nothing to do with you. You know, it's their own stuff that they're going through. But our Cancer full moon with this Four of Swords is saying it can be very exhausting trying to figure out, you know, where things came from or what our next step should be. You know, Four of Swords, this is really, it's one of those cards that really does feel how it looks. It can be on the brink of burnout. It can be allowing yourself to rest. You know, in this holiday season, in the climate that we're living in right now, it is a very emotionally charged, and there can be a lot of back and forth. And I feel a lot of our relationships may be straining us right now. And that could be even where we're losing, in my world, I've had a lot of people around me kind of losing relationships, you know, death cycles. And so that can also be very draining. Just want to share that. So yeah, that the Cancer moon is telling us, allow yourself to rest. Okay, don't worry about how that's going to impact others, where maybe you're not up for entertaining like you normally would, or, you know, thinking that you have to keep up on the dishes or your normal responsibilities or responding to those emails. Just allow yourself to even, you know, take some time to say, I'm not available for that, right? Whatever, it's going to feel a little bit uncomfortable because what we're releasing in this 2025 is judgment. And, you know, this is where another thing that came up is places where, you know, when we have judgment, it is where we have an expectation of something going a certain way, and then we feel like it didn't go how we wanted to, so we judge it. right? And I've talked about fuzz and power in my readings, and fuzz being this channel. It is our, our thinking mind that wants to understand things and put it into right or wrong or yes or no. And Judgment of 2025 is saying releasing those places where you think that you know how things should go, or maybe you're down on yourself because you haven't been able to live in some lane where you think that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, or if you haven't discovered that yet and you're really trying and seeking and it's not feeling how you think it's supposed to feel. So there is this message to release places where we judge ourselves. And I think of this, it starts in our head, but really we feel it in our heart. When we release judgment, we release those barriers in our heart that keep us from really receiving from others and from giving from others, because we think that we are going to be judged, and that can be painful. There's a message here too for releasing and opening. If you are really open to being an advocate for yourself and allow yourself to be in a maybe a heated conversation, or to be the butt of someone's anger or their own issues, that you are kind of filtering. What I'm seeing is like a filter or a sieve or a sift, like sifting through where those people who are going to hold things against you and maybe hit you in personal vulnerable spots, that they're really not your people, and it's time to kind of move on and not let them impact how you feel about yourself. Like you're making space for new people in your life, making space for new interactions. This is our guiding light, how we're showing up in groups and how we're allowing other people to receive our gifts is shifting. And I think it's interesting, this came up in one of my recent group events. I was doing some tarot readings for some high school kids' 16th birthday. And it's interesting when I'm in certain crowds how certain cards will come up almost in every reading. And this card came up in that 16-year-old birthday party. Almost all the kids had this Three of Pentacles. So it's kind of, if you remember going back to high school, you're trying to fit in, maybe you're in the band group, or, for me it was, band or cheerleaders, or it's AAP or whatever it may be, kind of finding your people. So I get this sense that we are kind of finding our people through when we stop judging ourselves so much and we can just show up more authentic. And not caring about how other people are going to take it, that we're going to find our group of people. The other message is to not everybody's going to like you. Okay, if everybody likes you and you're giving a piece to every single person, you're not going to have anything left for yourself. And so don't worry about pleasing everybody. Please the people who are really, I call it in my tribe. Who am I willing to maybe, give up my energy and my time and give my love when everybody's wanting it. Really discerning and saying, who are the people that I really trust with that, so that I know that there's this exchange of also them filling you up in a way because you're giving. Just want to share that. So we're releasing judgment in 2025, and remembering that we don't always know what's better. We may think we went down this wrong road, but we're going to start to see in the year of the wheel that that is actually for our highest and best, but you can't see it right now. We're moving into new and better things. So sometimes releasing cycles in the Hermit, it doesn't feel very good. It's like sloughing off, that snake, right? Before the snake can start wiggling and moving in its new skin, there's this vulnerable time where it has to kind of coil up and sit in the shadows, right? It has to just allow itself to kind of is very vulnerable before it can go out into the world again with its brand new thicker skin. So there is this, we are shedding, we are that snake, and we're moving into the year of the horse. But that seems relevant with our judgment card. And with our 2026, the Ace of Pentacles, we are growing. There are so many new opportunities, but we have to release some of those places where we're being so hard on ourselves, or we think we're supposed to be going a certain way and we're not doing that. Like I said, these things, aces are the number of 0. They are new beginnings, they're opportunities. This is an important number for our year of the wheel in 2026, is allowing allowing the opportunities when you kind of release your judgment of how you think the trajectory is supposed to go. Well, they shouldn't have said that, or this person, should have embraced me, or, getting upset about the way that things are going, because we have this 10 of Cups beneath us too. So this is an important thing that when we can kind of let go of some of that, we can be open to how the universe is showing us new ways. There's a sense of freedom, because our next steps is this 5 of Pentacles. There is this, like, the places where we feel kind of trapped. Where we feel kind of trapped. You can see she's got this giant key right there, but she's so focused on looking down and what went wrong that she can't even look up to see that she can let herself out. So if you are feeling like you're kind of the victim of other people's shit, I'm just gonna say, you don't have to put up with that, right? You get to choose. You have this life, and the opportunities that you have are really yours for the taking. So this place, the 5 of Pentacles, 5 is a number of struggles and obstacles and difficulties, and it's kind of that contraction before the expansion, obviously, if you've had a baby before, there's the contractions, but afterwards there's a beautiful baby, a new life and expansion. So our next steps is recognizing when you can feel these places, so that you're in the right trajectory. Actually, when you feel this tightness, it's a sign, fight or flight and also expansion in our nervous system feel the same. So if you're feeling that, it does not mean that something's wrong. It could be that you're on the brink and you're breaking through and ready for new directions, and you're opening up to new things. And like I said, it can feel kind of scary. You may feel a quick thing of doubt. And I've talked previously about, in the Grand Canyon, how there are these huge grooves because when it does rain, the water always goes through the same place. But right now, what we are doing is we are creating these new pathways. If your brain with neuroplasticity, if you were like the canyons, that when we're able to allow ourselves to release some of that judgment, we let opportunities open us up into places that are undiscovered, and that's so much of the wheel. And it's really has to do with learning from our social conflict. So if you feel like you're being squeezed in your conflict with others, where you're feeling like it just doesn't feel right, my office, the whole energy of it, or my boss, or whatever it may be, these are really red flags, and how they're making you feel is a sign of your next step. So it could be a sign to follow that, or it could say, maybe they're triggering me because that's a part of myself that I really don't like. And so I just kind of hit like this because I see that in that other person. So for you, it's there's that difference between judgment and discernment to decide. Judgment can kind of label things as bad, but we can kind of use our past experiences, maybe that were negative, and we can use it as discernment and to say, this time I'm not going to go through that door. I'm going to try this new door. There's this new opportunity. I don't have to go down that. I don't have to go through that door again, right? So new doors are opening for you. And beneath us, 10 of Cups, you cannot have rainbows without the rain. So like I said, to really, in your reflection of this year, today is such a beautiful day to do that, especially in this Cancer. It's like all the feels, and allowing, if there are these places where maybe you kind of get deep in the storms, and allow yourself to maybe say, maybe it's time for me to kind of stop dwelling on that, or maybe if you've been running away from it, to allow it to just kind of blast you for a hot second, and to say, this is okay. It's not as scary as I thought it was going to be, to go to these places to really look at some of these things and feel some of these this pain, because this, I do think of 10 of Cups. There is so much gratitude, and in our relationships. There's a lot of relationships here with the 10 of Cups, and almost always you can see they're watching their little kids there, and they could be friends, they could be lovers. You know, it's time to lean into those people who are your tribe. This is like I was saying before, we are finding our people, and those people who are quick to blame you, or who are really quick to trigger you, or just pull you into drama or gossip, or maybe every time you're with them you find yourself just talking about other people, you know, any kind of these toxic things. Lean into the people who really make you feel better about yourself and who see the beautiful parts of you that maybe are kind of vulnerable, that most of the world does not see. So lean into these people. Like I said, that's our guiding light, is 3 of Pentacles. So yeah, learning from social conflict. See if there's anything else that needs to be addressed. Yeah, just don't take things so seriously. That's the last message. This life is a journey. It is fun. Even when you mess up, you know, there's no right or wrong. You're here to learn. So just remember that, and have a wonderful new year. And please stay tuned if you have any interest in seeing me in the new year for tarot classes and monthly meetups. That's kind of in the works. So I'd love to hear any feedback from you of how you would like to work in a group setting to learn where you're at in the tarot, how to go into your next steps. I would love to see where you're at and to be able to work with you in that space. So also I'm going to be having some specials for tarot readings via Zoom in the new year. And so just stay tuned. Be sure you subscribe to that newsletter at entropyhealing.com. Goodbye.